everyone, welcome to the Burnt Bread's Homestead channel. Today I share with you our process of making homemade artisan bread. To start, about 2 teaspoons of yeast is added to warm water, and a tablespoon of diacetic malt powder, which boosts the yeast and adds great flavor to the bread, is also added. A tablespoon of sugar is also added, then stirred and set aside for a couple minutes. The foam at the top is an indicator the yeast is alive or active. The liquid mixture is then poured into the stand mixer bowl. A tablespoon of salt is added to the mixture. This may seem like a lot, but we are making 2 loaves of bread. Reduce the salt to your liking. And finally, organic farro flour is added to the liquid mixture. You have 2 types of bakers out there, those who measure all of their ingredients and those who use their senses. In this case, sight, touch, and smell. And later this evening, taste. So as you can see, my husband does not use measurements when making his artisan bread. When you make bread enough times, you become so familiar with the texture that you do not need to measure. And in a poop hits the fan scenario, when there are no measuring tools, or when you need to conserve water so you try to dirty as little dishes as possible, this practice comes in handy. We are using a stand mixer. However, if you do not have one, just be ready to invest 10 minutes of your time and a little muscle kneading the dough by hand. Our stand mixer ran for about 10 minutes. When making ramen noodles, I always knead by hand because the dough is extremely dry and tough. Check out my video on how to make fresh homemade ramen noodles if you haven't done so already. We have been working with dough a lot the past several months, making various things. While we are not experts on the subject, we are starting to produce very good quality foods such as pastas, pies, cakes, English muffins, bagels, pizza, hoagie rolls, biscuits, etc., etc. It is my opinion that being proficient with flour and dough is a strong skill set to have during difficult times, because it is a cheap solution to stretch meals and produce good food. The dough is coated in olive oil and shaped into a ball by tucking it under a few times. Now, you can immediately bake the dough after it rises, but we try to plan ahead to allow the dough to ferment 1 to 4 days before baking, as it enhances the flavor. We do this with all of our doughs, whether pizza or bread. In extreme layman terms, the extra time allows the hydrated carbohydrates to break down into sugars that the yeast feeds on. During this time of fermentation, whether 1, 2, or 4 days, the flavors really develop. The oven was set to preheat at 400 degrees Fahrenheit, 204 degrees Celsius. A bowl of water was placed in the bottom rack of the oven to add moisture while the bread baked for 20 to 30 minutes. Just before the dough was placed in the oven, the top of it was dampened with water. Then a little flour was sprinkled on top. And this is the final result. The texture on both the outside and inside of the bread was just about perfect. And the bread tastes great with or without butter. I hope that you guys have enjoyed this video. If you have, please like, share, and subscribe to help this small channel to grow.